You know what nobody tells you about getting older? It's not the gray hair or the creaky knees that catch you off guard. It's the silence. The kind of silence that settles into a house after the kids stop calling as often, after the grandchildren get busy with their own lives, after everyone you raised just quietly drifts into their own world, and you're left sitting there wondering, what now? My name is Arthur. I'm 80 years old, and I've spent a lot of time watching people try to answer that question. There's a woman I see at the library sometimes. Her name is Margaret. We're not close friends, but we've had coffee a few times. She told me something a while back that I haven't been able to shake. She said her daughter used to call every Sunday, without fail, for years. They'd talk about everything, the grandkids, recipes, little complaints about the week. Nothing important, really, but it mattered. Then one Sunday, the call didn't come. Margaret waited. She didn't want to seem pushy, so she didn't call either. The next week, her daughter sent a text. Just a quick one. "Sorry, Mom. Things are crazy. Love you." And that became the new normal. A text here and there. A call every few weeks, maybe. Margaret told me she understood. She really did. Her daughter had a job, kids in sports, a husband who traveled. Life gets busy. But understanding it didn't make the silence any easier. She said the hardest part wasn't feeling abandoned. It was feeling unnecessary. Like the role she'd played for so long, the one that gave her days meaning, had just quietly been retired, and nobody had told her what came next. I think a lot of us know that feeling. We spend decades being needed. We raise children. We solve problems. We show up. We're the ones people lean on. And then, slowly, without any big announcement, that chapter closes. The people we loved most don't need us the same way anymore, and we're supposed to just figure out what to do with ourselves. Some people try to fill the space right away. They volunteer, they pick up hobbies, they travel, and that works for some folks. I'm not saying it doesn't, but for a lot of people, it doesn't feel like enough, because the silence isn't just about being busy, it's about mattering. I see it at the park sometimes. There's a man who sits on the same bench every morning. I don't know his name, but I've watched him for months now. He brings a thermos of coffee and a newspaper. He sits there for an hour, maybe longer. Sometimes he looks at his phone. Sometimes he just stares out at the trees. One morning, I sat down near him. We didn't talk much, just a nod, a comment about the weather, but after a while, he said something that stuck with me. He said, "I used to think retirement would feel like freedom, and maybe it is, but nobody tells you how lonely freedom can be." I didn't know what to say to that, because he was right. Margaret, the woman from the library, she eventually started doing something different. She didn't try to fill the silence with noise. She didn't sign up for 100 activities or force herself to stay busy every second of the day. She started small. She started asking herself a question she hadn't asked in years. What do I actually want? Not what her kids needed. Not what her husband had wanted before he passed. Not what she thought she was supposed to do. Just what did she want? And at first, she didn't have an answer. She told me it felt strange, even a little selfish to think that way. But she kept asking. And slowly, things started to surface. She'd always liked writing, nothing fancy, just little thoughts, observations, memories. So she started keeping a journal, not for anyone else, just for herself. She started going to a book club, not because someone told her to, but because she genuinely missed talking about stories. She took a ceramics class at the community center. She wasn't good at it. She laughed about that. But she liked the feel of the clay. She liked the quiet focus it required. None of these things made her kids call more often. The silence was still there, but it didn't feel as heavy anymore, because she wasn't just waiting for the phone to ring. She was building something new, something that belonged to her. I think that's what a lot of us struggle with. We think reinventing our lives means doing something big, something impressive. But most of the time, it's much quieter than that. It's about learning to sit with yourself again, learning to enjoy your own company, learning that your value doesn't disappear just because the people you love don't need you the same way anymore. I've had my own version of this. My son lives 3 states away. We talk, but not as much as we used to. My wife passed 8 years ago. Most of my old friends are gone or too frail to get around much. For a while, I felt like I was just existing, going through the motions, watching television I didn't care about, eating meals I didn't taste. But then I started walking every morning just around the neighborhood, nothing strenuous, and I started noticing things. The way the light hits the trees in the early morning, the old couple down the street who still hold hands, the kid who rides his bike past my house every day at 3:15. It sounds simple, maybe too simple, but it reminded me that I'm still here, still noticing, still part of the world, even if my role in it has changed. I started writing letters, real ones on paper, to my son mostly, to an old friend who lives across the country. I don't always send them. Sometimes I just write them for myself. But it feels good to put words to the things I've been thinking. I'm not saying I've figured it all out. I still have days where the silence feels too loud, where I miss the way things used to be. So much it hurts. But I've learned something important. Reinventing your life after the children have gone quiet doesn't mean pretending you're not sad. It doesn't mean forcing yourself to be busy or happy all the time. It means making peace with the fact that life has seasons. And this season, the one we're in now, it's different, quieter. But it doesn't have to be empty. You can still grow. You can still discover things about yourself. You can still find moments of joy, even in the small, ordinary things. Maybe it's a garden you tend. Maybe it's a group you join. Maybe it's just a daily walk where you let yourself think. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be yours. Because the truth is, we're still here. We still have something to offer, even if it's just to ourselves. And that still matters. The silence doesn't mean we've stopped mattering. It just means we have to learn to matter in a different way. I'm still learning that myself, every day. But I think that's okay. I think that's enough. Take care of yourself. And remember, you're not invisible. You're just in a quieter chapter, and there's still beauty in that if you're willing to look for it.